So it's from Easter till...
So really from Easter till early July.
Because I saw Carolyn for the last time in early June, didn't I? Where I felt that she was, achieved a lot of her goals, that she was very, very clearly so very, very much better. And we decided then not to put in more appointments, and then just to, if she needed to come back, but carry on using the tapes and doing the relaxation. But really the key to it was actually coming off that remaining of drugs that she was already on, that she was on at that time.
Yeah, we didn't know how quickly we were going to progress. The issue was that we knew we were ill on the drugs, but we didn't know whether we were going to be well off it. We knew we were getting well, and having read so much about withdrawal, I just didn't know how big a problem it was, and I didn't want to go down at a rate that would precipitate a problem. So by coming off very, very gradually, I found that by adjusting the medication, so in fact what I did was from one a day, we went to one capsule every day and a half. But after 12 hours, we'd take perhaps 1.5 tablets of the same venlafaxine, and then we'd do that for 2 or 3 cycles. And this tablet after 24 hours was just a way of avoiding us falling very quickly. When we extended from 24 hours to 36 hours, it was a way of avoiding us falling down too quickly that would precipitate a problem.
So what levels was she on, Malcolm, in June when
In June she was on 75 milligrams, 175 milligram capsule a day.
And at that stage, she had lost most of her anxiety, hadn't she? There was, there was a little bit there, but very little compared to... what I'm saying is there was huge differences, wasn't there?
There was a huge benefit. She got rid of all the tremors.
Yeah.
She'd really got rid of much in the way of negative thoughts.
She looked forward to things.
Yeah, she was being much more positive. She was looking forward to going away on holiday.
Enjoying having her friends over occasionally, wasn't
Yeah, she was doing more. And we had this plan of going over to France for a week, and she could function. I guess is the best way to describe it. She could function, whereas before she was in a position where she couldn't really function herself in herself very well.
And she was getting up in the mornings feeling a lot better, wasn't she? A little bit more energy, and
yeah, she was.
The sort of early morning anxiety had gone.
Yeah, I guess gradually she took things back. So this was a milestone in many ways. Not only was she well enough to go away, but I'd stopped doing all the cooking.
I was just about to say, one of the things she said to me was, Jill, I've cleaned the house, the whole house.
Yes, that's right. Well, it was
started off with just doing the loo, didn't she, and then making the bed.
Yeah, it was one of her worries. It was one of her worries that she couldn't see how she could plan to clean the house. She couldn't see. One time she just worried about her clothes, and you say, what are you worried about? She couldn't see how she could have a clean blouse or a clean jumper 3 days ahead of time. That was the biggest worry at one time. And I'd stand in front of her wardrobe, and it's mostly her gear, and say, look, you've got enough to keep you going for 2 months here. But regardless of that, she couldn't get her mind around it. She just, the psychosis was just saying, you haven't got enough clothes, regardless of how many were there, because she couldn't mentally, in her mind, put together the stages of the time it took to wash and to dry. She just said, but they won't be dry. And the idea of something that was woolen, that would take a bit longer, was a problem. So suddenly she stopped. She was no longer worrying about these things. She was doing some of the cleaning. She was putting the clothes. She was washing. So I gave her that back quite quickly. And really, I suppose after we came back from that holiday, at the 75 milligram level, she could function. So she would do. She wasn't shopping then, but what she hadn't driven all that time. And the question really was, what level of medication is safe to drive on? And I don't know what the answer is, really. People drive every day taking antidepressant medication. But what I said to her is, when you get down to 175 milligram capsule, if you're functioning normally, then you can start driving again. We'll start doing a little bit. So she did start doing a little bit of driving herself at that time, because she seemed to be able to function normally. She then was taking all her own jobs back. she started making shopping lists.
I remember she phoned me once when she said she'd cooked her first meal, which was just really delighted about.
Yeah, so, and that's one of her, it's one of her great skills, that she's really good at throwing things together and making.
So bringing that all together then, Malcolm, it was very, very clear at that time that coming off the medication was increasing Carolyn's wellness and ability to function normally.
It absolutely was. It was allowing her to respond to the treatment she was getting from yourself, or allowing her to respond to the relaxation tapes. And it's difficult you can never separate out one effect from the other. But clearly the medication was making her ill. How quickly, if she hadn't have been having the hypnotherapy and acupuncture, how quickly she would have got better, I don't know. It would certainly have been a slower process, I'm absolutely sure of that. But without the medication, she was starting to get better. It was a clear positive response, less medication, a clearer head, and an ability to function.
And now you have the wife back that you sort of...
Yeah, that's right, really. It took another month, because I deliberately just kept taking off a quarter of the smallest tablet and leave it a couple of days and take off a bit more, because once she was functioning, it didn't seem necessary to precipitate. We knew we were going to get to zero, so doing it in 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks didn't really matter that much. The important thing was not to precipitate a problem.